Start recording. And 5, 4. Welcome back to the Long Walk episode of the podcast for the recently deceased. Not sure what happened there, but we're back. We're green. We are broadcasting at 1,000%. All right.
So some technical difficulties. Apologies, guys. But Nate was telling us about Strange Darling, his favorite horror movie of 2024, written and directed by the guy who
Who?
adapted the screenplay for
Who?
this movie.
Yep. And that's all. Just wanted to give him a little recognition for that. And then, of course, the film was directed by the guy who did the Hunger Games trilogy and a handful of other like older movies in the 90s and 2000s.
I want to say
Constantine.
Hunger Games is, at least commercially, a big effing deal.
Oh yeah.
So
Oh, it's huge. Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
that's
you don't really see the Hunger Games ness of this film the way it was shot, but obviously dystopian Earth is in his wheelhouse. It's something he's very familiar with.
sure.
And as far as the
But it
writing,
had that Stephen King feel to it here, and it had that Stephen King's world to it here. So it was, to me, you want to watch a Stephen King adaptation and have it be done right. It's got to be a Frank Darabont kind of production. It's got to
right.
be Green Mile or Shawshank Redemption, and they both nail it here for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah, absolutely. That's just all I wanted to bring up was that. Yeah, we talk about how tight the writing is and how much it feels like Stephen King. Well, check out Strange Darling if you want to watch dialogue. The movie only has two people in it. Like everybody else is on screen for one scene and gone, and it's all extras. It's literally just a conversation between two people. Great movie. Okay, moving on to the Long Walk. We're still right at the beginning. The major gives them the rules.
Yeah.
You want to do the rules? You want to start us off? Get us walking?
The rules, very simply, and they don't go into much more detail in the book, is you have to maintain a foot speed of 3 miles an hour. In the book, it was 4. It doesn't really matter. Stephen King wanted it lower for this. I feel if it's lower, it's more terrifying because you're going to survive longer, and it's going to be a longer, long walk. So, yeah, that was jaunting. If you do not maintain 3 miles an hour, you go to 2.9 miles an hour, you will get a warning. That warning lasts for, I think you have to walk for 1 hour before that warning comes off. If for whatever reason, and like you said, some people here, you're going to have to take a piss. You're going to have to take a shit, which they do in the book. And they actually figure out a way to do it, and they show it more than they did here. So this movie was not gratuitous. You get 3 warnings. On your third warning, I think you have like 10 seconds. After that, you need to get back up to 3.0. If you do not, you will get your ticket. That is basically the entire crux of the movie. There's other rules involved, which they don't go into in the movie or the book. But when somebody, there's military personnel following you, in front of you, and behind you, they're holding up like stadium lights for you, so you can see in the middle of the night. And they are refreshing your canteen, which is also another detail that's in the book for you. My favorite line, which I got to bring up here, at one point, Ray gets a warning for something, and there is some interaction with the soldiers, and he tells the soldier, "Hey, douchebag," or something to that effect. Your job is to shoot me,
Not
not to
look,
stare at me,
not look at me.
or
Yeah.
not look at me.
Yeah.
Look away, fuck off, whatever he says.
Yeah.
And if there was one line that encapsulates the whole movie, that was it for me. That was just a great moment that I definitely responded to in the movie theater. And a beautiful human is looking at me like, why am I responding that way? And I was like, because it's the whole damn movie, just right there in one absolute perfect line.
Yeah.
You get 3 warnings before you get your ticket, and you got 10 seconds to resume. And the horror of it is that they stick to it. There are times when people are on their third warning, and that 10 seconds is ticking down, and and I think at least one person who's about to get their ticket, or one person watching,
Yeah.
and that's what I loved about Baker. When his time was coming, he's like, "Do not watch me," and he's yelling at the kids when somebody else is getting a ticket, do not watch this, do not watch this. The terror of this movie, of the world that is created and the rules that they make and it's adhered to. There's sometimes when a ticket is coming and they're just following the fucking rules and they're counting 10 seconds, including for somebody who's shot. If you try to grab a soldier's gun, they will shoot you.
Yeah.
Shot in the stomach, and you know it's coming, but they make you wait. And
Yeah.
it's just, those are the rules.
Yeah. There's
Given
a
down by the major. Again, I got to give credit to Mark Hamill. He did it great.
there's a moment where the the walkers scream, "Just do it already!" on someone who, like, the one who broke his ankle, I think. Um,
And
yeah.
you see, like they show it, like his ankle is broken and fucked and twisted. He's been
Yeah.
working on it for
For
a
a while.
while.
Yeah. And
And that's the horror of this movie is that you know you can't last and you know you can't survive, or you know only one of you is.
right.
And different shit happens. Rain happens. Sleep happens. Taking a shit happens.
Yeah.
I think it's Ray who gets. Is it Ray who gets a stone in his shoe?
Yes, that's he gets 3 warnings right off the bat, and has 3 hours to walk it off. So no big deal that early on. But
Yeah, and Hank Olson is going off like, "Oh, this is great. This is great strategy. He got his 3 warnings early, so he considers it a rest, and it's part of his hyperactive, overzealous nature."
yeah,
And Barkovich, is that his name?
Barkovich. Yep.
He also gets 3 warnings pretty early on. I think because he's turning around and walking backwards, and just for the sake of being an obnoxious dick.
Right.
And but it's a great device to tell the audience, like, okay, how are we supposed to keep tracks of these guys' warnings, where they're at, where they're not? And
Yeah.
he's like, yeah, I walked off my warnings, dick.
Yeah.
Just great dialogue throughout this movie.
Oh yeah. They all get watches that show their speed and their warnings, and there's some kind of tech that's designed for this system. It's also all broadcast over cameras, so it's a show that people watch, which gave me a little Running Man vibe,
Yeah,
because that is the degradation of society, is that they consider this entertainment. One of the turns from the script, which I didn't know until it was explained to me because I didn't read the book, is that in the book, the whole walk, there are people on the sides cheering the whole way, and they're
yes.
giving you snacks, and they're giving you upgrades, and one of the guys gets like he gets killed because like one of the fans just jumps on him and starts dry humping him and making out with him, and then the guy just comes up and shoots the walker. So like that's something we didn't get, and it gets explained to us in the beginning that there are not supposed to be spectators because of the television broadcast. I understand the change from a producer standpoint because it's cheaper.
From a budget
It's cheaper
point of view.
because if you're gonna shoot 6 days of a walk, and yeah, okay, we get to reuse sets and stretches of road because you're not gonna know the difference, but you can't use the same 100 extras over and over and over and over and over again for
No, you
all
can't.
for all of these scenes. Like, we're gonna notice. You're gonna need 10,000 people, like,
Yeah.
or a lot of CG. You're gonna CG the crowd, and that's gonna look like shit. So it's a
So
very
to be clear, Ray does get a fan early on. It's a little girl standing by the side of the road, apparently because of his home state advantage.
yep.
Everybody has fans.
Oh yeah.
Everybody has fans in the book.
Oh yeah.
Ray has the most fans, to the point where he has like a crowd of a collection of people, spectating. It's again, we understand the budgetary concerns why they did it.
Yeah.
Um,
It would have been really tough.
this
I do like the element that could have brought to the film, like a group of people, like you said, fans who drive way ahead, and like
Yeah.
who get to see him walk by again, and then they drive way ahead, so we could have a recurring fan
which
base,
happens,
which I'm
which
sure
happens in
happened.
the
Yeah,
which
yeah, I'm
happens
sure
in the
happened.
book. People will like almost like stalk them, so it definitely adds an element of the terror. Like, fuck, man, if you've ever, Haas, you've done stand-up comedy, I've done stand-up comedy. If you've ever done it, you definitely feel like you're an exhibit in a museum and you can't see anybody
Oh
else out
yeah,
there, lighting. So there's a terror to that, and that's one of the elements of terror that was missing from this movie. So the tickets get almost amped up because we don't have that goldfish on display aspect of the long walk. But
right.
go read the book, guys.
Yeah, go read the book. I'm gonna go read the book. All right. Okay, so I think we lose Curly first. He's the one who gets the leg cramps, right?
Yeah, but he gets them to the point where walk him out. So later on, Olsen is going to get some kind of jelly shit
Jelly leg,
in
right?
his whatever the fuck that is.
Hmm.
In his quadricep and his thighs, and I walk it off. This kid gets a cramp, and I remember reading. I thought it was Ray that got a cramp, and he walked through it. Um, think about that, and that's the horror of this world, where a cramp can kill you.
Yeah,
And Stebbins is going to experience that later on because he's going to start developing either cold or flu-like symptoms.
yeah,
And oh no, it's nothing. It's allergies, douchebag. And he's got just the worst personality out of anybody in the group, worse than Barkovich.
yeah,
And in a human moment, why is this happening to me now? Of all the times for my body to develop a cold over 2, 3, 4 days worth of time, my body had to choose now, and he's still in it. So yeah, Curly is the first one to go out, I
yeah,
guess.
yep. And the second one to go out is going to be Barkovich is going to start making fun of this kid named Rank for having the name of Rank and for his parents naming him Rank, and he starts insulting his parents, and Rank tries to fight Barkovich, and while trying to fight Barkovich, he gets his 2 warnings. He falls down. He gets his 3rd warning, and poor Rank gets his ticket punched. And the guys turn on Barkovich right away. They call him a murderer. They call him that life is
They
on
call him a
you.
killer.
They call him a
Yeah.
killer. Yeah, they call him killer a few times after that. And this is what.
Oh, Pete does. And like we got to talk about this. So when the first ticket happens, when Curly happens, that's when the woman behind me exclaimed and rejuvenated my movie going experience. That was awesome and I'm jealous of you, like for having going into this not knowing what a ticket is. I wish I could have had that experience. That being said, Rank dies arguably from Barkovich. Pete is a good guy. Pete's a good guy. Ray's a good guy too, and they support each other and they create this. We're gonna be the last two, almost like Survivor mindset. Like let's form a clique to survive and outlast everybody else.
Right.
Um, Rank dies, and Pete calls. Pete's this good guy, but he calls Barkovich a killer, and it comes up later, right before Barkovich's death, where he's like, hey, can you talk to Pete for me? He does give a shit,
Yeah.
but they're talking to each other, and sometimes they rib each other, sometimes they rib each other playfully, and sometimes they are just looking to get into your head and have you psych yourself out, so they don't have to walk that much. If I psych this guy out into killing himself, he could have been number two. Now, number three is number two, who's not going to last as long, and now I can win the race or win the walk rather that much quicker. I could save how much muscle tissue, how much spinal injury. When you win the race, you get unbelievable amounts of money and one wish, and you're set up for life, and you inspire everybody. Rank goes out. What did you think about Rank's death? Let me ask you, is Barkovich a killer, Haas?
That's involuntary manslaughter at its worst. So I would say he did not intend for Rank to die there, but Rank did die there.
Well, he's guilty about it for the rest of the movie.
Yeah. Oh yeah. 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 So is he a murderer? No. Did he? Is he responsible for Rank? Yes.
Wow. Okay.
That's where I stand.
I don't believe in stochastic terrorism. I don't believe obviously words can do damage, and obviously verbal abuse is a real thing. I don't know. It's such a tricky line. It's one of the great questions this movie
Well,
makes us ask.
Rank still makes the choice to attack him instead of just tell him to fuck off and walk on the other side of the road. So it takes two to tango, but that's why I'm saying
And you
no.
can control your speed. And at one point they do okay, they look at their watches. We're traveling at 3.4. Let's go to 3.1 to save and conserve
Yeah,
our energy. You could also, and Barkovich does it, march your ass right up. And you could also 3.1 your way back to the crowd, which is something they did a lot in the book where, people would be like information couriers. It's how the word got back to each other and they formed like different cliques. They mentioned it. They didn't really show it too much in the movie, but they didn't have to.
I'll tell
So
you,
yeah, they
one of the brilliances of this movie was how do you have an hour and 45 minute movie where all they do is walk, right? So like,
yeah,
how are you going to, create drama, create tension besides the walk itself? And they did. They're like, well, let's talk about human, um, just regular human, everyday occurrences that we take for granted, and that these people can't take for granted, or are going to learn that they should never have taken them for granted, maybe
yeah.
because you can't. Okay, so pissing and shitting, uh, even eating, sleeping,
Sleeping.
sleeping, something as simple as cramps, the rain, all of these things create scenes which
Yeah,
with a lot of dramatic elements, and are
yeah,
what keeps you going. These how this group of guys walking deals with everyday shit that none of us even think twice about
yeah.
is what creates the scenes. These are the action plot points that take us to the end of the story. So there is meat on this bone besides the relationship to the characters, I guess is what I'm trying to say. For people who haven't seen the movie
Yeah.
yet, and if you're on the fence, obviously we're going to say go see the movie because we loved it so much.
Great movie.
But there is action, and the action is meaningful, especially to a society like ours. Excuse me, that I feel every day is heading in the wrong direction, and
Absolutely.
is heading into a direction where the long walk could actually be real or could exist,
Yeah.
or at least
It's
we would tolerate it.
it's not a coincidence that The Long Walk and Running Man are in the same collection of books. Very, very similar, dystopian, televised. Both that's in there. The televising of it is more obviously of a thing in Running Man than Long Walk. But yeah, it's definitely a commentary, and we are not that far away from The Long Walk. We're not.
No.
You know, am I gonna sound like whoever? And obviously we live in a world where Charlie Kirk was just assassinated. To not mention that is almost be remiss, in this conversation. So, go watch your political podcast to get the ins and outs on that. But, we're living in a world where, reality TV is everything, morals are nothing. Um, and it's very easy to see a financial empire collapse. And when you're the financial uh, top dog of the world for almost 100 years, since World War II, is it possible, is it feasible to see in America that is no longer number one? And what would we do as a nation to get that back, or to provide yet another distraction to somebody when it does collapse? And the long walk is a very easily foreseeable contingency. Don't think, oh no, that's science fiction. That's no way. It's outside of the realm of possibility. That's the horror of this world. They create this world. They create the rules for that world. And yes, the movie is moved forward by all these things that you do not think of. Oh, you get a cramp, rub it out. Or you got to take a shit, go take a shit, because you do not have to maintain a foot speed of 3 miles an hour that absolutely does not ever stop. Yeah, you get three chances, and yeah, those three chances can get renewed. That doesn't make things better. That makes things worse. You had three warnings. Now you have zero. How many? It's until dawn. How many times can you die before it starts to make an cumulative effect? How many times can you get three warnings and walk them off without it having a cumulative effect?
Yeah.
Except this is way more. I don't want to say real, but this has a way more of an authentic feeling to the three warnings to zero to three to zero than Until Dawn did, because these are real fucking people. And I was amazed that we didn't get more B-roll of just footfalls, of just footsteps throughout it. I think it happened maybe two, maybe three times throughout the movie.
Mm.
That's the terror of the movie. That has to continue.
Yeah.
Um, what death are we up to, Nate?
All right. So after rank, it goes a while. Um, it
Doesn't
go.
it go to nightfall and we get like a bunch?
Oh well, yeah. I mean, so we're not going to see a lot. And every once in a while, like overnight or through the rainstorm, you're gonna have they do like an overhead shot, and you see like 30 dudes, and then in the next scene, the overhead shot, there's obviously 20.
Yeah.
They do that like two or three times,
Yeah.
because the to put every death, there's 50 kids, to put every death on the screen is a little gratuitous.
I think somebody looked it up, and I think it's less than 50 because it's not from the book, but there's like one from each state. I think there was like 46 or whatever. And it's one of the things I want to rewatch. The major calls them out by number,
Yeah,
and Pete McVree's, we should mention, is wearing number 23.
right,
I don't know if that means that he's from the 23rd state. I don't know if the kid from Virginia is number one. I don't know if the kid from Hawaii is number 50. Um,
right.
but that would be really really cool to if somebody did that just to map on what the states mean. But Ray is 47.
47. Yeah.
So is that California? I'm assuming or some shit.
No,
Um,
well, whatever state they're walking in is Ray's state, right?
so the numbers do not correspond to the state's entry into the union.
Right, right. It could be alphabetical.
But yeah, Ray's 47. Pete is 23. Michael Jordan's number, um, which is just something I noticed. I thought that was a great nod, or maybe it was just coincidence.
I mean, does Stephen King use the number 23? Isn't the number 23 special? Besides, yeah, well,
I know in Dark Tower he uses a bunch of numbers before and after September 11th, and it's kind of freaky because Dark Tower was written before and after September 11th, and the numbers like lined up so that when he like wrote September 11th into one of the plot points of the Dark Tower, that's a terrible event that happened in a different reality than Roland's. Let me ask you that question down a quick rabbit hole. Are you a Dark Tower fan, Haas?
I've only read The Gunslinger, so
Okay, the worst one out of the seven. Read the second one. It's one of the best books ever.
yep.
If there's hope for the Long Walk to get made and to get made properly, with the exception of cheap CGI special effects, is there hope for us to get a Dark Tower iteration out there that's done
So
correctly,
the
properly?
Dark Tower is coming to HBO any day now, and it is a television series. It is not a film, and it is being adapted by Mike Flanagan, who is the only person alive that I would trust with the Dark Tower.
And is it going to ignore the movie with Idris Elba and Matthew McConaughey, or what's the deal with that?
100%. It's his own. It's his own writing. It's his own. It's his own cast of characters. It's his own actors.
Okay,
If
so
if you
that
don't
movie has nothing to do with anything.
right, if you don't know Mike Flanagan, he did all of the good horror series on Netflix. He did the Haunting of Hill House, the Haunting of Bly Manor, Midnight Mass, the new one, The Fall of the House of Usher. He also did Doctor Sleep, Gerald's Game, and The Life of Chuck, which just came out.
Doctor Sleep is so good.
And those are all Stephen King, obviously. Um, and I mean, he did Absentia, Oculus, and Hush. Hush was really good. Um, but yeah, Mike Flanagan is, and also Stephen King gave him his blessing and said specifically, Mike Flanagan's the only person I trust with the Dark Tower, and no one else will get to touch it ever again.
High praise. Stephen King, I think, he talks about, his stories and his characters and which one he feels is the scariest line ever said in the Stephen King movie, stuff like that. But Roland is definitely something that he has an affinity for. He talks about it all the time. If you want to read a great Stephen King book, I think Drawing of the Three, the second book in the Dark Tower series, is one of the best books I've ever read, period.
Right.
Just fantastic book. It's my favorite out of the series. Definitely go see it, and it's awesome that that's coming to HBO. Something for us to look out for. While we move on to our next notable death in the Long Walk.
Geez, I mean, it could have been. Was it Harkness? Do we? Because we do go a while where it's just people we don't really know, like no names, right?
There's a kid though that brought a radio with him.
Right.
Which I was like, this is gonna, and I wanted them to like slow down, but again, with me, with every movie, I want them to slow down until they do, and then I bitch about it. Somebody's playing a radio, you get a warning, you don't hear it. Do you smack that fucking kid? Do you smack the radio out of his hand? Do you start a fight?
Right.
And I was like, almost like, oh, missed opportunity.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's the kid that's gonna run off into the side of the road. He's
Right.
gonna commit suicide by walk or
Yeah.
by long walk rule.
Yeah. So the non-main character deaths, I'm fuzzy on. Obviously, I'm not going to be able to remember when they happened, but yeah, the one kid runs right off into the road.
He runs right off the road. Another notable one, another notable run. Some kid tries to make it for, I think it's an ice cream shop,
Right.
or it used to be an ice cream shop when we didn't live in a fucking shithole.
Did one guy like
Just
tear all his clothes off and run off too? Like it was like hysterical. Like he just like started stripping and just running just off into nowhere.
That's a very Stephen King thing to do. I don't remember that moment in the movie.
Yeah, I don't
Um,
either.
but in The Cell, which is like his zombie movie where cell phones create the zombie virus, um, the main character does that. He just takes his clothes off and his dick is just swinging for like a good chunk of the first chapter. So yeah, I think that's something that Stephen has done before. So I wouldn't be surprised to when I rewatch it to notice it here.
Right, right. So yeah, so I think the next one is Harkness. Harkness is the one who takes a bad step on his ankle, and I kind of just forgot about him. I thought he died off screen, and eventually he's like, "Hey guys, I'm not doing too good." And then they look back, and his foot is dark, dark, dark brown. It's almost black. It's still on its side like this. He's been walking on it sideways this whole time since we saw the break, and yeah, we Harkness does get his ticket punched.
And that's if there's one death that talks about it, I think Baker's is another one that just talks about the horror of this movie, where you have to keep going. Oh,
Yeah,
that was fucking brutal.
no, exactly, exactly. So we've hit pretty much all the big plot points. I mean, we can talk about the kids as they expire. Hank,
Well, Olsen had a piece of gum,
yeah,
and I'm afraid he's going to get this gum, going to toss it behind him. Somebody's going to step in it, and that's going to create what Baker tells when Ray, when his shoe rips, to
right,
take both shoes off. Otherwise, you're going to be off balance and you're going to use up more energy.
right,
And I'm like, well, this kid's fucked, and that does happen in the book.
yeah,
I was like, this kid's fucked. I was like, he's walking on his shoes now in the rain. Like
yeah,
you're done.
yeah,
And I really thought throughout the entire movie, somebody who knows they're about to get their ticket is gonna run ahead because we don't have the crowd to do that for them. Somebody's gonna run ahead, take their shoes off, leave them for Ray, and then get their ticket.
right.
That never happened.
That
Um,
would have been
yeah,
cool. That would have been great, actually. Something like that.
that's
To really drive home that camaraderie. Um,
and that's something that happens even with douchebags, even with Barkovich, who is, you know, I got plans for you, McVries.
yeah,
No,
no, you
you're an
don't.
angry douchebag, and the guilt is eating you.
Yeah,
And that came up to his death, where the guilt just built up.
yeah,
Stebbins, which I'm going to leave the plot reveal for you,
sure,
but I love that he was getting sick. He had his own hatred of the Major, which was what was driving Ray. So in the book, Ray wins, and he runs as soon as Pete expires. It's him and Pete at the end. They have a rule. I don't know if it's Stebbins or the Native American kid that says, "Hey, from now on, we do not help each other."
right,
In the book, they pretty much follow it until the end. But that camaraderie was there, and we see it here. And Pete's the winner here, which I loved. I loved the deviation from the book. Did you think Ray was going to win? Did you think Pete was going to win? Did you think it was going to be somebody else? Who do you think was going to win, huh?
so when Pete tells the story, or like halfway through, where he's like, I'm gonna walk. He's like, well, Pete tells Ray that Ray has the winning trait, the winning quality, and Pete says that he doesn't have it himself, and that he's gonna walk until he can't walk anymore, and he's just gonna sit down. And this happens when it's just Pete and Ray at the end of the movie. Pete sits down, and when Pete sits down, I truly believe at that moment that Ray is going to win. I think, oh, well, Pete's doing exactly what he said, and Ray convinces him to go just a little bit further, and
Yeah.
and
Fuck.
so Ray lifts Pete up and kind of walks with him just for a moment, and then Ray just stops, and lets Pete move on and lets Pete go ahead. And Pete doesn't even know because he was about to to give up as well, or he did just give up. So he you could tell that he is so delirious because he's ready to die that he doesn't even know that Ray's not there anymore. And he looks back, and then we get our expiration of Ray. And it was
The
such
brutality of this.
such an amazing scene.
Yeah,
One, because they're both great actors,
yeah.
but two, because you did, I think, believe, most people would probably have believed that, well, one, from if they read the book, because Ray won. Two, they did definitely set it up so that Ray would win,
Oh yeah,
and
yeah,
so that this is definitely a twist ending, which is good. It's good that you changed
yeah.
the source material so that even the people who read the story can watch this movie and go, "Oh my god, I got a different ending. This is
I
not
loved it.
not necessarily worse or better, but different, a different experience."
There,
Um,
yeah, it's I absolutely loved it. I like that they set up the rule we're not going to help each other, and then the first time they break that rule since then is Ray helping Pete back up. The
and
brother line, that's when he says, I'm helping my brother.
yep.
Just oh my God,
Pete always wanted a brother, never had a brother. Ray uses that word. We do have to go into Ray's backstory a little bit. It flashes back to his father showed him all of this old Earth memorabilia. Right, showed him music, showed him this, showed him that, all of this contraband because it was completely illegal in the current state of the world.
and the
Um,
mindset was illegal. What the movie and the music and the books conveyed was a sense of a freedom that's literally baked into the cake of who we are as a people in this country, and that's been eliminated. You're
right.
not allowed to have any thoughts that run contradictory to the power structure, including the major. And one of the things that we glossed over a little bit as we're approaching the finish line here is I don't know who starts a chant of "fuck the major, fuck the long walk,"
Yeah.
but they have a conversation. Hank Olson's still alive. He's like a sycophant if there is one in the race or in one in the walk. And they get that chant going. It's in the book. I enjoyed it. I gave that moment a 7. I don't give that moment a 10, but I thought it was great. But Ray's father here encapsulates that spirit and passes it on to Ray,
Right.
and it's a thought crime. Which, by the way, like I said, Long Walk's not that far away. Look into guys. It's a thought crime, and the major of all the fucking people, he is the authority figure that shows up with backup, and he gives Ray's father a chance to rescind his poisonous thoughts, be a good boy, be a good soldier, and say how much you love to suck the dick of the nation, the power structure, whatever. And his father doesn't do it.
He looks at Ray and he says, "Never forget who you are, or always be yourself," or something like that.
Holy shit!
And then he gets popped right in the face by the major. This will lead to Ray telling Pete, and only Pete, what his plan is with his wish. He's going to wish for
Yes.
he's going to wish for a carbine, and he's going to shoot the major.
Which
And
is why he's going to win. Hate is driving him.
yeah,
Pete, who is a very, very human character. He's not just a white knight in shining armor saying, "Oh, love is the way." Forgiveness is for you, not for them. He does call Barkovich a killer, and he does do fucked up things every once in a while. Even though Ray has a moment, says, "Hey Pete, you're just like everybody else. You'll watch me fall, and you'll keep walking just like everybody else." And he falls asleep, and Pete's the one who wakes him up and saves him, and they figure out how to sleep throughout this thing.
right.
That being said, Pete is the more heroic of the two. And it's like, that motivation is only going to bring you so far, but it's one hell of a motivation. Um, in that scenario, you're Ray's dad. Do you rescind your stuff, or do you stand by principle and make your son become this principled person who's going to win this walk because of a sheer hatred of what you said the true villain is in this movie, the world, the dystopia, the walk itself?
Yeah. So me personally, I think that I definitely do what the major says so that I can continue to provide for my family and take care of my family. But this is a kind of turning point in my story as Ray's father, where I would start the underground rebellion as a result of this is the Star Wars moment where you where you, instead of just teaching
Where
your
you join
kid.
the rebellion.
Yeah, exactly. So I think you just tell him what he wants to hear to get him out of your face, and then you reinstill your principles in your son, and you say, you do what you have to do to survive, but you always fight the good fight. And you know, obviously.
I am so. I'm sorry. Go ahead,
Oh
Hoss.
no, go ahead. I was done.
I am so afraid in that moment, um, for myself, not having the courage to continue to operate on my principle. If I capitulate to power, and if I don't speak truth to power, how do I go to work the next day and not become a piece of shit? How
Right.
do I go to work the next day and say everything I said to my son, I just gave the power structure such a huge win, and I could have like dealt a blow to them. Maybe not, not one that's going to collapse the system, but one that's going to instill, heroism in the next
In
generation.
the next generation, which is what Ray says about him murdering the major, is that that's what he intends to do. Pete says it's not going to make a difference if you cut off the head of the snake, and he goes, well, it might not, but it might inspire the difference.
Which
Um,
is exactly what the major claims the long walk is. It's there's a you know there's a lot of room for subtlety and nuance and poetry, and the horror that the long walk is. There are moments that are just absolutely beautiful, and you could argue that even Barkovich and Stebbins have those moments where you're in this world, and you're in and it has these rules, and you got to play, obviously. It gives you moments to just shine as a human being, and I'm going to say, I was talking about it after the movie with A Beautiful Human. Who has a higher heroism score? Is it Pete or is it Ray? And I want to say Pete has a score of like 5 to Ray's 2 to maybe a couple other people's ones. Um, what do you think? Who's the bigger hero here? Who
oh,
has more?
it's definitely Pete. It's definitely Pete. Pete. So after Pete finds out about Ray's plan, Pete tells Ray to choose love. He says, let me just do me a favor. When you win, choose love. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and Ray does choose. So this is the thing about the ending and about the setup with how masterfully this was written, is that Ray does choose love. So Pete sits down. Ray wins.
Yeah,
Ray chooses love. He stands
yeah,
Pete up. He pushes Pete forward. He steps back.
yeah,
And at this moment, Ray won, chose love, sacrificed himself for Pete. Hero scores pretty high. So
yeah.
that's a good fucking deed. Pete, who said choose love, wishes for a carbine and rat-tat-tats the major uh,
Fuck, bro.
for Ray. He gives Ray his revenge. Um,
Quite possibly negating. What are the rules? You shoot a. You see somebody go after, and I think it's the collie that shoots one of the soldiers,
yeah,
and they shoot him back, but they don't kill him. They wait for the game to take place and for him to get his third warning and then his ticket. Um, Great analysis, awesome comparison between the two. I didn't. Oh man, maybe it's obvious, but I didn't see it. So thanks for that, Nate. That
yeah,
was
no,
pretty
no
fucking great.
problem, no problem. I also think that I also believe that Pete is killed in this scene. Um,
Is he?
yeah, you don't see it, right? He shoots the major. Major goes down, and then he just drops the gun and walks forward down this rainy street lights. But it's a very, I don't know, path to heaven kind of set, and there's no crowd, there's no noise. When in the scene prior, the crowd is everywhere. It's the fucking finish line. The military is present. You
People
know,
do come out when there's only two people left because that's what people want to see. Is something that's mentioned. Ray also mentions that as the long walk winner, Even if they shoot him, he's a long walk winner. That's what's going to inspire, and that's what's going to make the
Right.
difference. So in a way, I'm going to call that love. Ray does inspire Pete to do that
Yeah,
with love.
absolutely, absolutely. And yeah, and then I mean, that's the only way to make a change in the world, a positive change anyway, especially in a world that's already lost to, to be playing this kind of game to inspire the nation to stay in line and continue to play the game. Like, um, so yeah, so you need something big. You need something like this. Like he said, you know, Pete says to Ray, revenge isn't it, and and it wasn't about revenge. It was about being the martyr that sparks um, the hopefully inspires the change in the nation to fight back against the fascism.
Yeah.
So
So,
that's
Haas, let me ask you the point that was brought up after the movie, because the woman behind me was asking, and her son was obviously a Stephen King fan, and it was a nice communal moment. But she asked about, oh, couldn't they drop out? And I was like, that's when I mentioned the difference between the book and the movie, a day and a month, whatever it was.
right.
Um, Ray brings it up in the movie, the voluntary, involuntary nature of signing up.
Sure.
You don't have to sign up. And at one point, we see a kid standing on one leg, an amputee, and he's got like the other pant leg like bunched up. He obviously cannot walk. Um, so he talks about, yeah, you signed it up and you think it's voluntary, but was it voluntary, or is your life so shitty? Is everything so dystopian? Is there everything so fucking hopeless?
Right.
A lottery ticket is really your only chance, your
Chance. Yeah.
only fucking chance.
Right.
Employment's not going to do it. Working's not going to do it. Whatever. You either sign up for this and get $1 trillion and a wish, and every long walk winner, is living happily ever after.
Right.
So it's proven. Um, how do you feel about the involuntary nature of signing up for the long walk?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the speech is perfect. Like they call it involuntary, so these people are, or they call it voluntary, so these people are choosing to sacrifice themselves for the long walk for the chance to win, but they're not. They're the world, the world at this point is poor. You have no choice. It's voluntary, involuntary. It's yeah, okay. You don't have to sign up, but what else are you gonna do? Are you going to live in squalor your entire life and watch your family starve to death, and or just who knows what kind of jobs there even are? Are you working for the government? Are there is it just ration cards, and
Right.
their own version of UBI, which is basically
Yeah.
enough to survive on. Um, so yeah, absolutely. Every male in teenage years, young adult years, is going to put in for the lottery and hope to be drawn,
Hope.
and get a show. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Hope
They're going to hope.
they want to be there. They want.
They want the opportunity to be 1 out of 50,
Yeah,
potentially.
yeah,
Nobody's going to go into, to be 49 out of 50,
yeah.
but they're going to hope for this. Again, moral courage. I'm not gonna not say it. Military recruitment is highest in impoverished communities in this
Absolutely,
country.
absolutely. And yeah,
It's
that's
voluntary.
yeah. It's a perfect metaphor for that.
Yeah.
Um, Real quick, I had two uh, endings that I dreamed up while I was watching, neither of which delivered. So I'm going to give them to you here.
Awesome. So
Uh,
non-book read uh, manifestations of a writer watching the
right.
long walk.
Which if I had read it, I wouldn't be able to do. So this is another reason I was thinking I would read it before we watched it, but then I was like, you know what? I'm going to watch it. I'm going to read it after. All right.
Yeah, and besides, it balances the scales. Nate 2, Steven 97, where you have all the previous knowledge, and I got jack shit going in.
Right.
So thank you for not reading the book.
Yes, no problem. Okay, so my first one was a very simple one where like Ray wins and they kill him anyway, right? They don't actually give out any prizes. It's like it's just for the spectacle. It's just for the show.
Right. So
So
it's a distraction.
yeah, this one got deleted a little bit when they're talking about past winners getting their
Yeah.
stuff on TV. But then I'm like, oh, that could be stage two. So anyway, I chambered that, and then I was like, wouldn't it be cool if in my brain I was like, wouldn't it be cool if Ray wins and he shoots the major and it like hits him right in the head with a bullet, and it like the skin peels off and it reveals like robot and it goes like tink and like it's all like this, it's a completely like weird self-contained fabricated thing. But that one got, and I bringing this up now because we did glaze over a detail. Uh, um, so that ending got ruined by
Yeah.
Stebbins by Stebbins' reveal before he expired
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
he is one of the Major's bastards, and apparently the Major has
He's got like 12 of
just
them.
got a bunch of them out there because
Crazy.
he's the Major. He just does what he does.
He's a scumbag.
He's a scumbag, which also drives home the Major being the villain a little bit more than the Long Walk, which was once again something they positioned for the film, which makes more sense, right? Because it's a visual medium, and also puts into our pocket a greater desire to see Ray succeed, to get rid of this guy,
But
because that means two people were there to kill the bastard. Stebbins was
yeah.
there to kill him, and Ray was there to
Yep.
kill him. Um,
Well, was Stebbins there to kill him? Because if I
uh,
remember correctly, his wish was going to be that he could have like
oh,
dinner with his dad or some shit.
to like meet
Like he
him,
wants to be
yeah,
like right into his world because he was a bastard. I don't know if he was a bastard in the book. I think in the book he was just his son,
yeah,
who just was raised with him, and out of the sick psychosis of this is the way things are supposed to be. He signs up for the long walk. It's like you're the Major son. Why the fuck would you sign up?
yeah,
Because you're looking for his approval, which is evil and sick. But even here, just being disenfranchised from him and looking for approval and using your wish to like hang out with the guy, that's a one of those subtle evils that's not beating over your head with it because you've seen these kids. The first one you see it, and I think the fourth one you see it as well. You
yeah,
see it throughout. You've seen the horror of what these tickets manifest as.
yeah. And
Um, that's an unspoken soft evil. Stebbins' desire for approval from his father.
the great thing about Stebbins is he is the last to die before Pete and Ray, and he is also the most physically fit. He
Yep.
also is definitely the winner if he did not get the flu.
I was
And
going to ask
you
you,
could
does
say,
he win if he doesn't get the flu?
absolutely, he was the most determined and the
Yeah,
most physically fit and able and ready to do this job.
he was
Um,
singularly focused.
and he even says he's like, I haven't been sick in 8 years, or I haven't been sick my entire life, and my body chooses now.
Now,
Um, yeah, yeah. Poor Stebbins. He definitely should have won.
so knowing what we know, and they know it too, they live in a world where the long walk exists. What do you pack with you on your long walk, Haas?
Oh, definitely calorie dense foods and snacks, like lots of nuts. I would say because they're packed, jam packed with fat, protein, calories.
Yep.
So lots of nuts, and I guess if they're doing canteens, I don't need I don't need water.
Right.
So definitely nothing with sugar because I don't want to crash.
No, yeah.
So just like lots of nuts, maybe some dried fruits just for some flavor, and
Packing acetaminophen in case you come down with a
yeah,
cold.
exactly. Yeah, I would throw in some ibuprofen or some Tylenol, some um, I don't
Do you
know.
give out acetaminophen to Stebbins? So Ray gives Olson his rations because Olson has some weird shit where he only likes a certain flavor.
No, he's
Uh,
allergic. He's allergic to pork.
oh, is that what it is?
Yep,
And so Ray gives him like his rations.
yep.
Fuck. Like it's disgusting green snot out of a tiny
Little
little
tube.
toothpaste tube.
Yeah,
That's pretty fucking gross.
yeah.
But do you do that? Do you help somebody out to the point where
I,
this kid's gonna be starving?
yeah, I think so. I think I give my Tylenol to Stebbins, but also before the rule. After the rule, I probably don't.
Oh, right, right, right. Before their rule of not helping each other.
Yeah.
Do you try to maintain 3.0, 3.1 so that you're further in the back so you could take the rations and anything else off the corpses of the people ahead of you that get their ticket?
Ooh, looting the corpses because you're behind them.
Which didn't happen in the movie, by the way. not
Right.
once.
Right. Right.
Not voluntarily the way I wanted to see it happen, but not involuntary either.
Right.
And they also they did talk about how one of them was married. I think it was Olsen. I'm not sure.
Olsen.
And
Yeah.
so they
Oh.
talked about doing something for his wife with the money.
Yeah.
And there's some great conversation that we didn't cover. What were you gonna do with your wish? Oh, I'd get 10 ladies. Hey, dumbass, you could buy 10 ladies. Yeah, no, but it feels worse if you pay for it. Hey, dummy,
They're
in order
gonna.
to fulfill, somebody does have to pay for it.
Yeah.
So there was great conversation there. That was very, very Stephen King dystopian conversation.
Yeah.
Another reason to go check this movie out. Do you loot the corpses?
I don't think I do. I don't think I
I
do.
do.
Not with the camaraderie. I'm not. I'm not gonna run out of whatever's in my backpack before I die. I don't know.
I'm your friend in order to help you, and I am going to encourage you to keep walking. Absolutely keep walking, unless you're Barkovich or Stebbins, or maybe Cully. Um, in order for me to do that longer, I got to take care of myself. In order to take care of myself, this kid has rations. I'm fucking hungry. This kid has shoes. I'm in my fucking socks.
Right.
So now I gotta walk 1 or 2 hours to get a warning or two taken off, so that I could put shoes on to get another warning,
Right.
and 10 seconds is gonna go by before I get another one. So I'm looting shit.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, as Ray, I think I would have definitely looted some shoes, but um, I don't think anything else was too necessary. Besides, yeah, like you said, like Tylenol, peanuts, and the canteen.
I give this movie a 9, but I really wish we could have seen a shot of Ray's feet, or just
Oh yeah.
maybe not slow motion, but just something of his socked foot just going into the
Well,
moisture ground
yeah.
and like picking up as he took the next step.
They
Just don't put it in slow motion, but let me
they,
see it, hear it, feel it.
they did give us a quick shot of it in rain, but like
Yeah,
not close up, and you saw
not
the
close
socks.
enough.
I I could have
And
done it.
how hard is it to do a close up? That's not a budgetary concern.
Yeah, yeah.
You just
I think we could have seen the socks even wear out. Like, how quickly is it going to wear out? He's walking on fucking pavement. Um,
walking on fucking pavement.
yeah, we would his feet would have been blistered to shit, and probably even bloody and scarred by the time just from. I think he went shoeless at least 2 days, if not longer.
How exhausted are they? How much longer does the walk go on? With saving each other, without saving each other, but just from pure attrition, how much longer does the long walk go on? If they don't, because they both try to do the right thing for the other person.
Right, right. They're like, we're the last two. Let's just call it. Uh, not much longer. I mean, maybe 12 hours. I don't think they get another day out of it. I think they were both toast.
So how long can you walk in time, maintaining 3 miles an hour? Us.
How long can I walk?
Yeah.
3 miles an hour. I mean,
Yeah.
I've probably walked like maybe 15, 16 miles in a clip before. Um, that was really really hard. I mean, well, I was hiking, so half of it was uphill, the other half was downhill. But
That fucked me up. At one point, they're going up a hill.
oh yeah, yeah.
I just started from the book. I'm like, oh.
I think
So it's one of those
I
things
think
like
three
piss and
people
shit and
died.
rain. Are you winning the walk, Haas, or are you number 47? Are you number 2? What are you
Nah,
dying?
I'm toast.
You're toast, huh?
I'm toast. Give me 3 days maybe. I'm not going. I'm not making day 6 or 7. No way.
Um, that's the horror of this movie. You're a day 3 guy. You're not a day 5 guy. And
Nah.
what is going through your head? Do you run for the sidewalk? Do you run for the ice cream shop? Do you collie? Do you shoot a soldier?
You know what I would do? I would do
Do you bake her and sit down? What do you do?
I would do the exact opposite of your question. I would reverse loot the bodies. I would give all my stuff away, and
Yeah.
and then I would just sit down.
Yeah, I would run ahead and just strip and try to like
Give everybody my stuff.
shoes here, rations here, try to organize as much of it as I can.
Yeah, be like,
If I
sorry.
know I'm going out, just go for one fucking run forward.
Yeah, here you go, guys. Enjoy. Good luck. And just go lay down. I love the scene, and this is one of the more grotesque scenes where the kid falls down and the tank runs over his legs, and they go second warning, and then he's screaming at
That's
the
where,
top
like,
of his
are you really
lungs.
sticking by the fucking rules? Like, you expect this fucking kid to get up?
Yeah, and then they're like, third warning, and he's just screaming at the top of his lungs, and all the kids are just like losing their minds that this is actually happening. And then they finally shoot him in the head, and it's like, wow, this is like, you know, the all the tension, all the horror, all the psychological thriller of this movie, you know, it all comes from the walk itself, and it was brutal, and to wrap things up, I gave it an 8 out of 10.
I could talk about this movie for another half hour, another hour easily. Absolutely loved it. If it was written by Richard Bachman at the end, I'd give it a 10. If Benicio del Toro was the major, Mark Hamill did a great job, despite him being the lovely human being that he is. I would give it a 9.5. Stephen Anthony from Dark Cloud Studios, I give The Long Walk a 9.
And I'm the boss, Osferatu, for the podcast for the recently deceased, BasementMedia.Online. And we'll see you next time.